how to heal your hurts. Of course, heal then again is feet. And remember the barefoot as much as we can, especially in nature. And set those feet free because you've got the sole on the bottom of the foot. And once we're making that earthly connection, the body is made of those earth elements. There's bringing harmony, there's bringing balance, there's an integrity to what it is. And that's helping us to get our own rediscover and be authentically who we are. And that's when the fun begins, actually, is when we're truly who we are. So how to end the pain or the suffering or the hurt, first of all, is to give it a different label. When my daughter Suzanne passed on to her next expression, what I felt and what I chose to feel was, instead of calling it pain, I called it how there were actually deep feelings of love. And it's called love and separation. And that we mislabel things. We don't need to label things anyway, but it's like we do. That's the left brain thing, labeling all this. We're not the labels. It isn't who we are. But when we label it pain and suffering and lack and limitation and ugly and horrible and terrible and bad and all of this cold, all of this, we take on those conditions. And we actually then experience that in our minds, in our emotions, in everything that we're doing, because that's what we're saying that it is. And when I changed my feelings of pain to feelings of such deep love and satisfaction, it transformed my whole experience. And of course, there's always the thoughts that you could have done better or different, but that's also the mind wanting to make you feel guilty. So then the pain and the suffering so much is because of how we're perceiving it. And we're labeling it that. And so then we take on that experience because we have made that thought, that thing real. And then we are the living example of it because we're the one experiencing that as pain and suffering, as loss. And when you miss someone, you might say, it's a terrible thing. I don't want to ever fall in love again because I don't want the pain. It's a quality of love you maybe don't understand or never knew was part of the experience of what we call love. And when we transform our concept of what love is and who we are into acknowledging and recognizing our feelings as valid and real and true because they're coming from us. And so much of then the pain and suffering is also looking into the past in the memory of what you lament, what coulda, shoulda, woulda happened. And what are you doing that for? It's over, but what happens, people don't want to overdo it. They want to do it again. It's called sentimentality, and you will then. Because you're wishing to do that again. Why? You already did it. And if there's a change that you want, you desire within yourself to give up that so-called pain and suffering and regret and limitation and lamenting and all of this, you have to look at what have you been getting out of it, because you wouldn't do it if you weren't getting something out of it. So there's some kind of a thing. We've got a program that says the more you suffer, the more God loves you. Interesting, huh? What kind of a God is that? All right. So what we want to do is as you give up the pain and the suffering, you stop agreeing with it. You focus on your own inner self in your meditation, your quietness, your contemplation, your communion. And that comes to making a habit to be habitually conscious. Yes. And when we are habitually conscious, we are being ourselves with full integrity in every moment of now, because now is all that does exist, and it's us being.